that.
Good Lord. You women pump these wetbacks out like a factory.
But I got a PhD. I'm poor, hungry, and determined, sir.
At the risk of sounding a bit self-loathing, I gotta say, I don't think us Mexicans are that financially literate or that academically inclined. However, I do think that we are some of the toughest and tastiest people out there, because I'll take a bite out of Salma Hayek's nalgas anytime, if you know what I'm saying.
Ah, come on, fool.
Along with that, I gotta ask, are we some of the tastiest and most innovative people out there? Since allegedly we did create one of the most important inventions from the past 500 years to this present day, the hot Cheeto. However, another more important question arises, was a film about this creation even needed? And also an even more important question arises from the question itself. Do we possibly have racism to thank for the invention of the hot Cheeto? Well, that might be what the film wants you to believe.
Hey, people always try to throw away the brown ones.
Bruh.
So, is Flamin Hot a cinematic masterpiece that needs to be seen with the works of Scorsese and Christopher Nolan? Is this the Mexican entrepreneur innovation film that we've all been waiting for, aka Mexican Wolf of Wall Street? I'm not fucking leaving, dog. Or was this just a 90-minute commercial for Frito-Lay and the Hot Cheetos brand? Like really, who asked for this film? Did you? I didn't. But worry not, because I watched Flamin Hot, so you don't have to. And damn, that is one of the most 2020 video titles ever. Let's bite into it. The film begins in present day at a restaurant with the main character Richard Montañez narrating about his grind and how Mexicans are spicy and all. And not gonna lie, it's a little bit over the top.
Call Mexican spicy? And you're playing with fire. Yeah, that fine-looking Whopper right there, looking like Sean Connery dipped in abuelita chocolate. That's me, El Mero Mero, Mr. Richard Montañez.
It's got that whole, you know you're Mexican if, insert whatever generic action here type of thing. For example, you know you're Mexican if... Escalera! Oh! Fuck yeah! Yeah, there you go. Anyways, he takes us back to his childhood, where he grew up on a fruit picking yard with his family before he became a famous singer. My bad. Wrong Mexican rise to fame story. Now he's in elementary school and he meets his future baby mama, and they're sharing bean burritos.
Oh, what is that? Gross. It's a bean burrito. Ha! Figures. Beans for dirty.
My bad. Racism isn't funny. I mean, okay, it is a little bit, but honestly, the wordplay throughout this film is cheesy but entertaining as hell. You'll see.
We decided to stick together. Burritos and bullies be damned.
Told you. After this, he's insecure about his burritos, but then he ends up selling them. And deadass, I just took some bean and cheese burritos to work yesterday. Whatever though. He sells his burritos, and doesn't he kind of sound like a Vine?
Give me this one. 25 cents.
A specific Vine, if y'all remember. So now he's a burrito dealer.
This is pretty good. I want some. Give me one. Me first. Give me this one. 21. Beans for dirty beaner.
And he's making all this cash, but racial biases arise, I guess.
But I wasn't a white kid. I was brown.
And so were my underpants that day. Now he's a criminal though, and it's the criminal / race relation lecture / monologue.
You see, back then, La Policía believed they had the right to beat your ass in the street if your name was Gonzalez or Martinez. To be Chicano meant being invisible, but still getting a beat down.
And this all feels kind of forced, I'm not gonna lie. Time passes and Richard has to stop being in the gang life because he's got a baby on the way.
If you don't wake up, you're gonna end up in a cell or in the ground. I think you can do better.
I'm gonna be a daddy.
Fast forward, now Richard and his girl Judy are parents and they're struggling and it's hard. And they're brown, so it's somehow twice as hard because their kids got ripped shoes.
That's good.
Okay, I think I got it.
And oh hell no, this movie's trying too damn hard, to be honest. Who the hell would do that? At least put some duct tape, make it more believable. Fuck it man, I'm glad they just didn't throw a tortilla over it. Now it's another work struggle montage, and even the other Mexicans don't want to work with Richard. Also, this happens and more forced racism.
Hey, that's my car. Don't do that. You have respect for other people. You women pump these wetbacks out like a factory.
They're at a dead end with no job, so now they have to go ask Richard's dad for help, but he's an ex-alcoholic drunk / motorcycle bike leader who always belittled Richard. But now he's saved by Jesus.
Butcher got saved about 5 years ago. He replaced the gin and juice with some Jesus juice.
Shit, I also put tapatio in my spaghetti and meatballs. This film's cheesy as hell, but points for being authentic.
The best part about making meatballs is knowing that
That's crazy!
One of Richard's ex-best cholo friends leads him to a job at Frito-Lay because he's trying to keep Richard out of the gang life since he's a tax collector for the LA gangs and he's also a candle in the dark.
You're a candle in the darkness.
Despite all the odds and no GED, Richard gets the job.
Remember Principal Grimaldi? Oh, tough, annoying.
Heck yeah, man. I hated that guy.
Principal Grimaldi is a woman.
And starts working at Frito-Lay as a janitor. Eventually, Richard meets the Allstate guy, to which he tries to sell Richard insurance. Despite this, Richard declines.
You an Allstate bitch.
Although they become good friends and the Allstate guy shows Richard how his machines work. So life is going good for Richard until the economy hits harsh times. Wink wink, check my last review.
I can't move my legs.
Richard's job is stagnant for years until 1991. There's also this buildup with the PepsiCo / Frito-Lay CEO, but we'll get to that later. One day, Richard picks up his kids from the bus when all of a sudden this happens.
The hell happened to you?
Why are you always gonna do stupid Mexican stuff?
Hey, what's the matter with you?
He's in bad because he's gonna make fun of him because we're Mexican.
Man, shut up!
Hey, you shut up!
Knock it off!
And I'm gonna have to call Cap. Think about this. This is somewhere in LA, San Bernardino, in the 1990s where American Me and Blood In, Blood Out just came out or were about to come out. And I'm not saying that racism didn't exist back then, of course not. I mean, hell, two of the coolest races came out of the 90s. ¿Sabes qué estoy diciendo? But this whole bullied because he's Mexican thing seems a bit outplayed for dramatics. Despite that, Richard lectures his son about being Mexican and how it's a superpower.
Like, there's a lot we can be embarrassed about. But being Mexican? Nah, mijo, that ain't one of them.
You're embarrassed.
No, I'm not. And you know why they don't want you to be Mexican? Because they know it's a superpower. They know that superpower. That superpower can knock them out.
And now they go to get corn, which activates his spidey senses, and now he's got a vision for the hot Cheeto. He's also trying to get lost in the hot Cheeto sauce, but no one's believing in him. And it's gotten into him, but it turns out that wasn't a Mexican superpower. It was mostly a mutated gene, because Richard becomes the Mexican Wolverine.
Respect you! I'm just trying to help. It's getting so bad your wife is looking for help behind your back.
Nah, I'm just playing, but isn't that like a Wolverine angle?
Just trying to help.
what the hell are you?
I'm poor, hungry, and determined, sir.
Richard tests and tests until he finally gets the hot Cheeto sauce perfect. Now he's got to get it out to the main CEO, and again, no one is listening to him. More race lectures ensues.
These white ladies would come to our school to tutor us. One for the white kids and one for everybody else. And the kids that came out of the white trailer, they always came out with cookies in their hands. And I really wanted one of those cookies. The white kids spit at me, shoved me, and told me, go back to Mexico. I came out with my dang cookies.
But he's able to go behind his boss's back and call the CEO directly. Kinda.
Thank you for taking my call. I have an idea that you need to hear.
I'm listening.
Okay, yes. Sir, I'm Mexican. I'm proud of it. And there's a lot of us in this country, and we spend money on snacks just like everybody else. We eat Doritos, but not before covering them suckers with tapatio. Like, the more it burns, the more money we'll spend on it.
That's true. Like, comment, and subscribe if you do that too.
This part, sir, it is 100% Mexican approved. My family, my neighbors, they can't get enough. I think it will save our factory. It will save jobs. If it's okay, I'd like to send you some samples, sir.
That's more than okay with me.
More than okay.
Anyways, the CEO is down for Richard's idea, so he sends him some samples.
Holy!
Calm down, bro, it's not that bad. Throughout the entire film, it depicts the hot Cheeto as like the hottest, spiciest thing ever. It's like that SpongeBob hot sauce, and we all know it's not that bad. POV, I just touched a lore accurate hot Cheeto.
Flamin Hot Cheetos. Deliciously hot, dangerously cheesy.
Back on track, the CEO loves the chips, and Richard gets chewed out by his boss for breaking the chain of command. And now Richard feels bad, but he's got to take on the world because he's a Montañez and has to do a sales pitch for the Mero Mero Frito-Lay / PepsiCo. Now it's a feel-good montage where he also makes amends with his father.
I'm so proud of you, man. And I'll always regret not being the man who made you the man you were today.
Richard arrives at the Hot Cheeto pitch, which is stale, boring, and corporate.
The number of Latinos in America represents a vast untapped market for Frito-Lay.
So he turns up the spice.
Pretty sure there's more Mexicans in this room than there are in Australia.
You see what I did there? Albeit, he's able to charm them and get them to send out 5,000 cases. The Hot Cheetos end up not selling because of poor product placement and no commercials or media or whatever. The other corporate people just want to ambush him.
Look at the top of his head!
So now Richard decides to get his old homies and workers to push the product and to plug in his personal vision. So now they're all lost in the Cheeto Cholo sauce. Anyways, his efforts work, and now they're gonna send 5 million more cases. Or 500,000, I forgot. So they pump out the product, and now Richard gets bumped to the director of multicultural marketing, and he's a success story because he's got a better life. Oh wait, my bad. Wrong Mexican entrepreneurship film again.
Don't say that, mijo. Don't say that.
In the end, Flamin Hot is a pretty entertaining Hot Cheeto corny movie. It's a feel-good movie, but it is a little corny and overplayed. Some of the stuff that they try to do doesn't really stick the landing. For example, like the racism. I kind of get the angle that they wanted to do, but it's just so abrupt and unsmooth. Some of the characters were racist as hell for no reason. Beaner. This was also Eva Longoria's directorial debut, and I don't know what her politics are, but it kind of feels like she's the one forcing this racism aspect to the film. Maybe because she had someone force himself up on her.
Give me some chon chon.
Ah, come on, bro.
Just kidding, but real shit, this film got a White House screening.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
How and why? I wonder what she had to do to get that screening. I'm only joking. 6.5 out of 10 orales. It's not horrible, but it's just kind of cheesy and corny. Watch it if you want. But if you want a film about real Mexican perseverance, then go check out A Better Life. Or better yet, check out my video about A Better Life. Till next time, later.